Hello, this is Photography Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am reviewing Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Ghost Recon Breakpoint is an online-only tactical shooter developed by Ubisoft Paris. You play as a ghost, which is basically a special forces operative. Your chopper goes down on an island called Iroa. The island is run by a tech firm and it's been taken over by a group called the Wolves. You have to take back control of the island one mission at a time and take down the wolves. You can create your own character before the chopper goes down, but the character creation is very limited. You only get a few standard faces and haircuts to choose from. It's very disappointing and the game really could have done with a face creator. The story progression is okay, but it's not as good as Ghost Recon Wildlands in that respect. Iroa, the island where the game is set, is nice to look at, but it's a little bit bland compared to the previous game's environment. It all feels pretty safe, along with the kind of neutral vibe of most of the enemies. I think Ubisoft have definitely gone for a softer option because last time they did it in Bolivia and there was a lot of controversy about how they portrayed Bolivia, so they've kind of just gone for a fictional location to avoid any controversy. Saying that, I don't think that's really worked because it's kind of become fairly bland. But anyway, so what is the gameplay like? As with all the Ghost Recon games, the gunplay is fantastic. You can customize the gun parts and how it looks visually. Everything feels realistic, the guns handle well, the sound of the guns are awesome, the impact when you're shooting the gun on other people is amazing. So the overall gameplay is very good and they've added a few extra features that have helped. You've now got drone enemies in Breakpoint and they are very creepy. You've got drone planes which silently roam the skies, drone tanks and many other types. They really add something to the atmosphere because being machines, they're more menacing. They don't stop and run for cover or talk to you. They just come for you until you're dead. And it can be quite terrifying, but it's a really good addition. They've also added a prone camo feature which lets you roll around in the mud and cover yourself in it so that the enemies can't see you. You know, much like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Predator movie. So it's a really nice touch. It gives you a bit more kind of atmospheric camo. They've also added the bivouac, which is like a campfire feature. It lets you do crafting, cooking, prep work, buy stuff from the store and have a sleep. Basically recover, preparation if you've got a big mission coming up. There are, however, two specific gameplay features which are not great. One, the game is online only, even if you're playing solo. The Ubisoft servers at present are not the most reliable and several times I was kicked out of the game during a mission and it became really annoying and it just completely broke any immersion that I'd built up. There really isn't any reason why a solo player should have to be online. It's only a feature so that Ubisoft can stalk us online. Please Ubisoft, stop creeping, it's weird. The second annoying feature is that they've taken away the AI teammates that the series has become renowned for. It basically means if you want to play in a squad, you have to have 3 friends who own the game and are online, or play with 3 random people you don't know. Anyone who's played with randoms will tell you it's really a mixed bag and it doesn't make the most of the experience. You can use drones in solo if you don't want to go online, but it's just not the same. You know, honestly, I can't believe they thought it was a good idea to take the AIs away. It's not. They realise that now because the community have really voiced their opinion, but in my opinion, it's far too late. Because by the time they patch the AI teammates in, the damage to the game's been done and people are going to move on to something else. So overall the gameplay is good, but it's quite a lonely experience if you're not playing with 3 randoms online. Personally, I didn't mind solo, but Ghost Recon is all about the squad. So relying on randoms for your squad, it's like the US military going to Walmart and just grabbing the first 3 people they see and saying, yeah, you're ghosts now, let's go. It just doesn't work. The graphics are an improvement on Ghost Recon Wildlands. The game environment is very picturesque and on the whole it does look decent. The character faces are okay, but I'd still like them to be a bit more expressive. You know, they do come across quite wooden in the dialogue sections in particular. The lighting and the day-night cycle is good and the environment really changes depending on that time of day. There is a photo mode in the game and it's not too bad. It is a little bit limited in terms of the post-processing, but you can zoom out pretty far if you want to do like wide panoramic shots. You can change time of day, which is a nice touch, and there are some minor things you can do, but it isn't massively comprehensive, but it's good enough to capture just a little slice of the action. So sound, music and voice. The music in general is very good. There isn't a lot of it, only really during specific story missions or at certain points. They seem to have stripped back the music usage in this game, which does help with the immersion, as most of the time you're just hearing ambience and environmental sounds. The voice acting is a decent standard. They seem to have tried to add more narrative in this game, but it's not the strongest in terms of quality, but it's not bad. The sound effects are awesome. All the guns sound amazing, really good. They just feel very powerful, very realistic. So in terms of the actual SFX, they definitely nailed it. Okay, so what's good and what's bad about Ghost Recon Breakpoint? What's good? The gunplay is excellent, as with all the Ghost Recon games. The controls are tight and responsive. The island looks great, even if it's a little bit dull compared to Bolivia. The drones add an eerie quality to proceedings. And the prone camo and bivouac are really nice additions. What's bad? There are no AI teammates, which goes against the core values of the Ghost Recon series. The Ubisoft servers are unreliable and you get kicked out of your game way too often, even if you're playing solo. The loading times can be quite slow. Character creator is poor. The cars and motorbikes handle like absolute rubbish. The enemies in the game feel a little bland and forgettable. The robots are actually probably the most interesting enemies in the game, which tells you a lot. The story is pretty forgettable. Aroa, the island where the game takes place, is picturesque, but it's much blander than the Bolivian map, and most of the time it doesn't really feel like there's much going on. The map is large, very large, but it does feel quite empty most of the time. So what is the verdict? Ghost Recon Breakpoint is a decent game, but has some massive flaws that hold it back. Removing AI teammates was a huge mistake, as was making the game online only. Playing solo can be enjoyable, and you can use drones to supplement your cause, but it does feel quite soulless. Not everyone wants to play online with 3 other people. So to not give gamers the option for AI teammates is really lazy, and it clearly shows Ubisoft Paris don't really pay attention to the fan base of their franchise. It's all well and good them saying, we're listening to your feedback and we'll make the necessary changes in due course, yada yada yada. The problem is they're not listening in the first instance. I'm a massive Ghost Recon fan. I have been for years, and I've always loved squad-based games going back to Conflict Desert Storm when that series was out. So I don't understand why you would deliberately remove a core element of your game. Ubisoft didn't listen, and they won't listen when they make their next game. You know, it all makes me really concerned about where the series is going. I definitely think twice before I bought the next installment. But putting all the negatives aside, the core game is still good, but it's just a huge mistake by Ubisoft to think they can change the product and the customer won't care or notice. Ubisoft, please, for the love of God, get your shit together. So my score for Ghost Recon Breakpoint is 6 out of 10. It's the gameplay that saves it, because everything else seems pretty shabby, and Ubisoft really, they've dug a massive hole for themselves with this one. It's still enjoyable, but don't buy it now. I wouldn't recommend buying this right now. Wait until like next summer, once all the AI teammates have been implemented and all of the fixes and the problems with the game have been remedied. Because at the moment the game's a bit of a mess. I think they're going to remove the online only mode because it doesn't make any sense if you're a solo player. Why do people need to be online when they're playing solo? They don't. So change it, please. Anyway, so that was the review for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I didn't want to give it 6 out of 10 because I really liked Wildlands and I really like the Ghost Recon series. I wanted to give it a 7, but that was me being biased. So I reflected on the score and said, no, it's a 6. You know, online only, no AI teammates, crap story, bland island, bland enemies, yawn, sort this shit out. It's just a big disappointment, you know. There's still good, even all of that crap, there's still a good game in there if you've got the patience to ignore all the fuckery that Ubisoft are trying to get away with. I'd recommend don't buy this game right now, please, because this is going to drop in price. This will be bargain bucket in 2 months, so wait for the bargain bucket. Okay, so that was my review. We're done. I've had my rant, so please fix this game, because I do love the Ghost Recon games, but at the moment it's just getting on my nerves. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. This is Photography Gamer signing off. Thank you.